Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our midway point through the season Hypotheticals, as predicted by Tom Nixon in our previous episode. And the man himself is here. Now, as we've mentioned before, we've had to move. We've had to,
Oh yeah.
we have to be in bunkers sometimes to record this just due to the sheer amount of fan interaction that, they want more than we can give, frankly. And so,
Jeremy,
yeah,
I've had to move
dive in.
continents once again, which just it must sound like a old story at this stage for our long suffering listeners. But I've once again not only moved continents but hemispheres,
Mhm.
and look, we have to do what we have to do. The mail just keeps coming in by all forms and mediums. And this actually, I think, is a good segue at the top of our podcast, Jeremy. We were discussing offline, perhaps at the risk of encouraging more communication to our inbox, which, we have several unpaid interns monitoring it. At the risk of encouraging more volume and traffic, would you like to give out our email address in case anyone would like to contact us for the purposes of comments, questions,
Yes.
sponsorships, something along those lines?
Yes, yes, thank you for that. And just before I even get into that, we're going to tease that. We're going to hold that email
Oh, okay.
address, like so people are wondering what it's going to be. But I think we should just also acknowledge, Tom, your voice is coming in very crystal clear today, and it's a lovely, lovely addition.
It's good to be here, mate. And I've invested in the podcast. I've invested in the listeners. And that has resulted in me getting a mic, proper stand, interface, better headphones, all that kind of thing. So I'm here and I'm committed. I'm not going anywhere. Those hot takes are going to keep on flying through the airwaves. And we're going to be sizzling all the way through 2024. Right into the finals, into the postseason, and into next season. So
Yeah.
buckle up. Let's go.
That's it, exactly. And if you want to comment on Tom's new audio equipment, please send an email to hypotheticals@gmail.com. Now, I know Gmail is quite an uncommon mail system, but you're gonna have to just work it out, all right? It's the name of the podcast and it's at Gmail, all right?
Once we get a bit more money, we will have our own domain.
Mhm.
It will happen, but obviously all of our current money is going to
Security.
provide security, our personal security, which is
Yes.
standing off camera for those who are watching. They are very, very just
Mhm.
outside of the screen,
Mhm.
outdoors,
Mhm.
etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, Tommy, well, speaking of security obviously being our last line of defense, I think that we've got to start talking about the Bucks defense and
Oh,
how much they could do with a security team on the floor.
wow.
Wow, what a segue.
Get the sirens out. Just before we proceed with this, Jeremy, we're recording on Thursday, the 18th of January. Have
Mhm.
you seen, perchance, the score and or result of the Cavaliers game that premiered hours ago?
I have.
Okay.
I was gonna turn it on halfway through the first quarter. I was busy
Yeah.
before that, and I looked at the score, and it was 4-22. And I
Okay.
said, "This is
Not
and
today.
we were not up, by the way, for people that haven't didn't
I,
catch the game."
I watched the first half as a long-suffering Bucks supporter, and then I think I deliberately ruined the score for myself. I wasn't going to, and then one of my group chats kind of flew off about the game, and I didn't try hard to avoid what ensued as a public roasting of the Bucks. So maybe the less said about that, the better. But in general, Bucks chat, we have some other games to discuss, which probably deserve our attention in a
Mhm.
completely unbiased and undirected way.
Absolutely. So, yes, I mean, look, we'll have to talk about the defense a little bit, I think, in a little bit, but let's talk about some of the big wins, uh, recently. I think we got to start. We've just got to start with the Celtics because
Have
this
to.
did not get any coverage for some
No,
reason, which was
I
bizarre.
know.
I don't know why
Anyway,
either. You go
an
look it up
injustice.
online. Go look at yeah, exactly. Get justice. We
Yeah.
because if you look online, there's almost no videos about what is one of the most devastating defeats I've seen in a while.
I
Tommy, do you want
just,
to go first? Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the events that happened that day.
well, for starters, I'm not, I don't have a predetermined sort of state of conspiratorial sort of thoughts, but the lack of coverage was just appalling. My thoughts on this game, I don't know why it wasn't all over the media. I mean, TNT turned the broadcast off, and
Mhm.
like, I was speechless, and I couldn't believe it. No, mate, it was a great game. I loved every second of it. I'm considering a rewatch actually after today's Cavaliers game, just to get myself back into some better feelings and positive emotion. Um, people can say what they want, blah blah blah, back to back. I don't care. We destroyed them. We dismantled them. Best starting five in the league can get absolutely stuffed. We just weren't playing around. We needed the dub, and we went out there and we got it, mate. And first time they've ever benched all the starters at the end of the first half. That's just what happens at the start of the second half. That's what happens when you come up against a hungry Bucks team. So yeah, that's like my just fly over, mate. What do you think?
Mhm. Look, I think I'm gonna have to just dive straight into my heat check for this one, Tommy, because
Go.
I've just got such a hot take based on that. So
Okay,
everybody,
Sizzler.
I'm gonna that's it. So let's just check it out. Watch your ears, eyebrows, everybody, because this is gonna be a hot take. Watch your sideburns.
Watch the
Um,
scorches.
that's it. All right, are you ready? Tommy, this is the hot take,
I'm
and here's
ready.
my hot take: the Boston Celtics have a 0% chance of winning the NBA title this year.
I mean, it's not an unpopular opinion in
Sorry, an extra explosions just happened off in the
uh
background there, Tommy.
mate, I think I doubt whether they'll make it out of the second round, maybe even the first. I'm a double
Yikes.
down. I'm a double down on that one, mate. My ear hairs are sizzling. No,
No, Tommy, let me just lay out the case here, mate.
okay, please,
I've got it written
please.
down.
I
It's
don't want
time
to
to
rant
point it
yet.
out. Okay, here's what it is. All right. Look, they're in the regular season for the last couple seasons, they have been dominant. No
Mm,
doubt about it. They've
mm,
been a force to be reckoned with. They've always been a good team. Always in the regular season, they're
yeah,
always down to just cook people. It just
yeah,
happens.
it
Okay.
does.
This season, absolutely no different. So again, this season reminds us of a lot of previous seasons already.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Uh, we jump back a season ago. Not unlike the Milwaukee Bucks, they were favored in their matchup against Miami Heat.
Yep,
What happens again? They lose in 7 games, right?
bullied.
But they are bullied. And this
We
leads me
discussed
to my
this.
point. Let's talk about, the years before that. Warriors, they had an 88% chance to win that series in the finals, bullied again. We
Yep.
go back to the Heat the year before, bullied again. We go
Yeah.
to when we didn't have Chris
They're
Middleton,
soft, mate.
we almost bullied him. And what happened the other day when the coach benched him was that he showed that the coach is also soft. This is the most bullyable team in the NBA. They
Yeah.
don't want to admit it, but they do not have resilience when things start going the wrong way. And this year, unless Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, and Giannis all get injured, they have a
Oh.
0% chance of making it to an NBA title. Lock
First
it in.
team, first team most bullyable in the NBA. First team always like just shatters under
Mhm.
even a modicum of pressure.
Mhm.
You can just chalk it up right now, mate. Put it in the rafters. I completely agree. Unless they're very much so like unless Jalen and Jason are sort of cooking, and everyone's working. If it feels like once their game plan gets like just messed with a little bit, they're done. You know, and honestly, I was surprised. It's not like that game was out of reach, like the Bucks game. I say this with all humility. Like, I don't know what the lead was. It was like, was it 30 points? It might have just been under. Um,
Mm.
but I was like, this definitely. It's not like the biggest comeback in the world. Like
Mm.
it could have been a playable game at least. So no, dude, they ain't winning.
Yeah,
Lock it in.
it's not happening. And it's just, and my other thing that I wanted to say was they had two people that had mental toughness on their team, Marcus Smart and Grant Williams, and they've both gone. You've replaced him with KP, who hasn't shown a shred of mental resilience his entire NBA career.
Mate,
So,
his mental resilience is about as resilient as his calf at the moment, and that's he's currently out. I'll put it that
and,
way.
and just to the final part of my case here is you also know the Celtics supporters are also feeling the heat because if you see any loss Just look. You don't even need to see what comments there are. Just look at the number of comments. That's it. Look at any other team lose, and then look at when Celtics lose, and look at just the number of comments. Excuses out the wazoo, mate. It's just you can lock it in for my heat check, which is my hot take, and I need to get a temperature check on
Oh,
Celtics. 0% chance.
yeah, it's just not going to happen. You know what? And I can't believe I'm about to say this. I would actually almost prefer to see Philly take him out in the second round. I think that there would be a certain amount of justice in that. Um, and it's well documented my thoughts on Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid in general. But even be happy to see, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'll put it that way. And I want to see the Celtics get pinged in the second round and absolutely yeeted into next season. So let's move on, mate. Unless you have
Wait,
any
no,
other.
no, no.
Oh,
I do
oh,
have one other thing. This is not
oh.
about the Celtics though. That
Okay.
game did give us though something that I wanted to coin as a
Oh,
new
please.
thing that you can do in the NBA. Not unlike the Tony Snell, which is playing 27 minutes and recording zero stats. I've got a new one. So,
The
Tommy,
cardio.
are you ready for this? I'm going to give you a name and then I'm going to give you a definition. So, the name is Thanasterpiece. Okay. So, what is a Thanasterpiece? Thanasis checked into that Celtics game
Oh,
with
come on
6 minutes to go.
Come
And
on.
within the first 10 seconds, he
This
got a
is
technical
beautiful.
foul.
This-
Uh, and he
Why did he get it,
almost,
Jeremy? Why did he
why did he
get
get
the
it? For,
technical
for
foul?
flopping.
And
And
how
it
many
was,
times has this happened before, please, Jeremy?
I actually don't know. Do you know?
It's at least happened once this season.
Absolutely.
I think they
Yes.
only brought it in this season, but it happened the other time he had just checked into a game. I think it was the Pacers.
So anyway, Tommy, I want to give you the name is Thanasterpiece, and this is what it is, okay? Because I think
All right.
Thanasis is the probably the only person who may be able to achieve this, just given what is required. So it's fouling out or getting ejected in under 7 minutes played. Now, this is because that's you're basically averaging a foul a minute, which is Thanasis was really getting close to,
He's pushing it.
which was amazing. And why this is so difficult is A, that's unlikely to happen, and B, the coach would usually pull you. But there are rare circumstances in a blowout that allows for this type of behavior.
Well, he's also there for that.
Yeah.
He's there. And I know I sent you some Thanalysis the other day on this, mate, but he's there to beat up the other team and to kind of just be a general nuisance. And that's why they send him out. He's an intriguing player in the
It is.
NBA, in today's modern NBA. And I saw a video the other day. I should have watched it, but it said, "Is Thanasis really that bad?" And he just elicits these thoughts of, like, there's got to be more to just his last name as the reason he's on the roster. And I think that that's because they can throw him in and he is just a class A pain in the backside. They get fouled, they get pushed around. He's in their face and it's just annoying. It's like when you play pickup with someone who's never played basketball before
Yeah.
and they're trying to defend you by just kind of putting their arms around you or that kind of thing. And you're like, oh, you don't really play. And they come off like, oh, I'm defending you so good. And you're like, you're actually not, because you're not playing defense the way you should be. Like, it's all just reach ins and hugs, essentially. He reminds me of that.
He also, I mean, there's so many questions you have about Thanasis that I feel like will never be answered, but it's a very, you're right, videos like the titles of videos that feature him are extremely fascinating,
Oh, yeah.
And we've mentioned this before, but he's the exact type and build of player we actually need on the Bucks, like someone who's a
Yeah.
defensive wing. Like we need this person. If he
Yeah.
was smarter, he would be getting minutes, Like it's
If he,
just it's so unfortunate.
if he literally turned the energy down just a little bit, you're spot on, mate. I don't know. We need athletic defensive wings,
Yeah.
and I don't know what he's doing. He obviously doesn't care about that. He's too busy just yelling and screaming on the sidelines for like 99.9% of his NBA career. That's fine, I guess.
The only wings he's cooking is on the barbecue at home, and it's really that simple. Anyway, Tommy, let's jump on to our other big game because we got to talk about this.
Have
Give
to.
it to us. Give me your thoughts, mate, on the Kings game.
As you said quite rightly, we had absolutely no business winning that game of basketball. Dame was having a stinker. I think everyone, Giannis played okay. Brooke had an all right game. Malik Beasley has been a sniper.
Mhm.
Obviously, this Cavaliers game put aside, he's been deadly from three. So we were playing just very. It really was encapsulated for me in overtime, where it felt like we had to work really hard to get every single bucket,
Mm.
but the Kings basically just waltzed into the paint, and De'Aaron Fox just threw up a little floater. You know what I mean? It was like we worked the shot clock down late in the shot clock. Got a shot up. Oh, it went down. Thank goodness. And then they literally just in transition would just kind of jog up. And then, we're playing defense like traffic cones, and they were kind of just one step, two step lay. But that shot, it just took away everything. It took away everything. I had an inkling it happened because, again, on the group chat, someone was like, wow, Dame really turned it on. And I was like, I wonder if they meant, I wasn't entirely sure, but I had an inkling. So I wasn't fully surprised, but still the way it happened was
Oh,
magical.
it was so jarring and
Oh,
momentum. Like it was just in the wrong direction of the momentum so far that when they like the game was over, there was like, everyone's hugging Dame and everything. And you could see the kid they had that cut to that shot of the Kings assistant coaches just
oh yeah.
standing there in shock. Like that even they because it was almost like they wanted to challenge the call, but there's nothing to challenge. Like it kind of
Yeah.
gave that energy, like, wait, what?
Yep. Yep. And they were almost just, yeah, it was a stunned silence. And I could sense that they were like, there is nothing we could have done.
Yeah.
Like he took that shot from like 3 steps over halfway, falling to the left. Um, Everyone knew he was going to take the shot. He still took it. He still got it. Oh,
I also wonder if maybe because they were giving such a shocked look that maybe in the previous timeout the coach had been like, "Look, we are just about to beat the number 2 seed in the East. This is who we are. This is us. It's time to build that momentum right now." And then bang, that happens. And then I don't know if you saw the next night they also got cooked in like the final. I think it was Phoenix. Also had a massive comeback on them and won
oh,
like by 1 point in the fourth quarter.
tough.
They're just. It's a tough time to be a Kings fan.
So tough. And I really love the Kings as well. So it
Hmm.
actually was like, I actually was watching that game and I was like, they really do deserve to win. They really
Hmm.
do. We had no business being like, we were playing okay, but we just were so sloppy. And,
Mm.
I know we need to talk more about our defense. Honestly, I want to be optimistic because I don't know if you saw, but Jay Crowder's back. And
Mhm.
I know that he's not going to be the single plug to sort of, stop what seems to be never ending bleeding.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that he does something. And I'm relatively confident that he will at least kind of bring our allowed points per game to drop by like maybe 5 points. Do you know what I mean? If he can stop 5 points a
Uh-huh.
game, I'm happy with that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Look, I think we're still missing the one type of player we need, which is a wing defender. Again, Thanasis, please. Like just you've watched so
Fill
much
up.
basketball from the front row. Like how does please be better? It's all we want. But
Yeah.
I've got some options for you, Tommy. These are players that I think we should kind of target. Okay. I just want to get your
Go on.
thoughts on them. So these are people that I think are like kind of like I know one of them's definitely available. I want to get your thoughts. So this person's definitely available. Uh, and it's Andrew Wiggins.
He's had a tough season, mate.
He has.
He's had a real tough season, and I kind of like bringing in a younger player. I'll be honest.
Mhm.
I do like that. Um, we have a bad habit of bringing in people who have only got like a year left in their career.
Have you
Uh,
seen that we're looking to bring PJ Tucker back? By the way,
that's
this is
exactly what I'm talking about, mate. That's literally exactly who I had in mind as I made that comment. And he was great. Like, don't get me wrong, biggest PJ Tucker fan for that run that we had. But even when he came to Milwaukee, he was like, twilight years then. Do you know what I mean? And that was a few years ago, bros. So, yeah, I actually think it might be good for Wiggins. It might turn out to be like a stroke of genius
Mm,
because he might need that change of scenery. I don't hate it. I don't love that he is just having a stinker of a season and
mm,
he's not exactly coming in with confidence. Whereas Malik Beasley, he'd been like hot and cold, for like the Lakers or whatever. So there was kind of like, yeah, we can sort of see what he can do, and he's blossomed.
Mm.
Whereas Wiggins is really just going to have to, I don't know, like hope that playing in Milwaukee just changes things for him. What do you think?
I mean, I just think that it's like he's a classic guy who, like he was kind of weird on the Timberwolves. Then he comes to the Warriors and he becomes a role player and he's awesome.
Yeah.
And he became a good defender. And I just think that like on the Bucks, he doesn't like there's no responsibility for him other than just to play defense. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't have there won't be offensive responsibility on him at all if he doesn't want it. And if he does want it, he can play in the second unit and try and get some shots up. I mean,
Sure. Sure.
that's that's fine. But at least it's like an athletic wing that we can throw at Jason Tatum.
I don't think we'll be throwing much at Jason Tatum, mate. Bro will be out by the time we will potentially match up with them. But I know what you're saying. In effect, let's just say, for argument's sake,
Uh-huh.
if by some kind of miracle the Celtics make it out of the first or
Uh-huh.
second round, we see them in the conference finals. Yes, we do need that athletic person who's not Chris Middleton, who's not going to get absolutely cooked on the first step.
Oh.
Because as much as I'm a big K Mid fan, everyone knows this. I love me some Cash Money.
Mhm.
Bro is getting absolutely slaughtered on the perimeter. He's not bad actually in the post,
Yeah.
and he's been pretty good paint defense. He takes smart fouls. It's not
Mhm.
all bad news, but as soon it's like putting Brook Lopez on the perimeter. It's like
Yeah.
it's a wrap.
Oh, yeah. Look,
Yeah,
and today was definitely a big example of
tough.
that. I turned it on in the third quarter, and we looked like we were playing at half speed, and the other team was playing at double speed. Like
Oh.
we looked old and sad.
I know. And the thing is that, to be honest, our team, we're not really that old. Like a lot of the teams in the NBA are really young, which I think gives this perception that if you're not average age of 23, then you're an old team.
Mm.
But like, Giannis is not that old. He's not 30 yet. Bobby Portis, I don't think, is 30 yet.
Mm.
Campaign is young. Malik Beasley's young. Who else have we got in our
The
team?
young guys.
Obviously the young guys, Ajax, Marjon, both at the start of their careers, essentially. So, like, that's half of our two rotations.
Mm.
The only people who are really old is like Cash and Dame and Brooke. We have no excuse to not run. We have no excuse to get cooked
Yeah.
on the perimeter, and we are.
Yeah.
Um,
And sometimes it is rough. You're right. Sometimes it's just there's nothing you can watch. All right, my number one person that I think we should get. This is one I've pitched to you already, but it's
all right, go
Marcus
on.
Smart because
I don't
I
hate
just
it.
here's my case because here's the things that we don't like about Marcus Smart, right? His decision making in clutch situations, it sometimes has been questionable, I think.
Trash.
Yeah. He's
Dumpster fire.
he yeah, how good how good he thinks he is at 3-point shooting in clutch moments
Trash.
again is severely
Brick loud.
overrated in his mind. And do I think Drew should have got the defensive player over him in the year that
I'm
that
dirty about it.
happened?
I'm
Absolutely.
still mad about it. Yep.
But why do I think he's a good person? He is a good defender and he can play guard
Yeah.
wing defense. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
And he can run secondary point guard if we like for our bench unit if we are desperate. He can bring the
Yeah.
ball up the floor. He can make a pass. The and so you can kind of nullify a lot of his bad things because he's not going to be touching the ball too much. Chris, Giannis,
No.
Dame, they're going to cover most of that. And what you can get out of him is just pure defense, a bit of hustle, and maybe a charge here or there.
Maybe a 3
Um,
2. Like,
Maybe a
because he'll
three.
have less volume. So he
Yeah.
might, you know what I mean? He'll get better looks.
Mm-hmm. And he's
Um,
not the worst player to on a mismatch. Like if a big person has him, he's not the worst person.
no,
In that scenario, it's
I don't
okay.
mind that.
And as I've mentioned, in the off chance that we play the Celtics, he'll be extremely charged up because
Oh,
they
yeah.
traded him for Kristaps Porzingis. So they've made their call about who they think's better. So I think he'd be very charged up to
Oh,
play
yeah.
that match.
He's got some dog in him too, which I
Yeah.
always love. And I think that meshes well with the culture at Milwaukee. I actually
Mm.
think that funnily enough, I actually think he's a pretty good culture. He's good for the culture.
Mm.
My only issue is like he's obviously getting wasted in Memphis.
Mm.
But I don't know if they'll offload him. Like that team, they might offload him because they're like, this season's a wrap, which it is for them.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't. Do we have picks to give? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Do we give them some of our young players, like some of our, I don't know, third stringers? I don't know if Memphis would take that.
I think the trade is something along the lines of like a Beauchamp centric thing, which I'm okay with because
I
I
don't
think
mind.
Ajax I think we have to keep.
I have
He's
to. I
actually
love him.
mandatory to keep. He's great.
Need to
And
keep him.
he-
He's the
he's
best.
he's the best. So
He's
he's the
great.
keeper. And Beauchamp I think is a good trade piece because he's young wing, can play defense, he can dribble. He's kind of like I think his destiny is to be a great sixth man. You know, bring him in, does defense, does a bit of wing shooting.
Yeah.
You know, defense if you need it. He can start sometimes. I think that's who he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Beauchamp, but he doesn't have the flair or the
No.
passion that Ajax has. And oh man, Ajax, honestly, he can actually really carve out for himself a career in basketball. I can
Mm,
see him being a Jay Crowder, PJ Tucker,
mm,
just an absolute menace on D. Um, a couple of threes every now and then and a steal, and he would be an analytics like dream. I can see him like plus minus wise. Yeah. Whoo!
yeah.
Let me some
Yeah.
Ajax.
Yeah, he's gives me a little bit of Jose Alvarado energy as well,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So, did you have anything else you want to say on the Bucks, Tommy?
No, I think that's it. I think we're in a bit of a like, it might sound a little cliche, but a little bit of a mid-season slump. I think we are kind of dragging our feet to the All-Star game a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, but let's not catastrophize here. We're still second.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we still knocked off we lost to the Cavs, sure. But like we just said, we knocked off the Celts, knocked off the Kings. Those are decent teams in both conferences. So I'm not worried. Also, without stating the absolute obvious, I'm going to state the absolute obvious. We had no Giannis. That's what happens. So, and Chris, the poor dude, could not buy a shot. I don't know if you saw that
I
first
did.
half was not kind on the man.
I saw a 0 for 8 at one point. He
It's
had
tough.
0 points, no free
It's
throws
tough.
either. It was just rough. And
Yeah,
then, yeah.
yeah. Dame was unfortunate as well. He actually had some genuine shots just rim out, and that was unfortunate. But yeah, I'm actually not worried. I think that we're playing pretty good. I think that our defense is actually slowly getting better. We're now 19th in the league. Which, it's not 21st, it's not 24th. You got to trend upwards, and Jay's back. So
Yeah.
I'm confident we'll work it out. And playoffs is a different game, dude.
Mm,
It's a different era. So yeah, I'm not worried. I think we're gonna make a deep run, and
mm.
I'm keen.
All right, mate. Well, I've already done my heat check, but
Oh
Tommy,
yeah.
do you have a heat check for me? Let me give you the jingle.
Okay. Woo!
All
Okay.
right.
So this one I thought long and hard about, and it is a hot take, not because of uh like the trajectory of the team necessarily, but my hot take is actually it's hot because of who's saying it, and that's me. It is well documented my opinions on the Los Angeles Clippers and how much I hate them and how I think they're overhyped every season. But I think they're going to the Western Conference Finals, Jeremy. I think they're going to make it to the conference finals, and I think they're going to give the Denver Nuggets a little bit of a how you going. Um, I have a bit of faith in the Clippers this year. I have a bit of faith. I didn't want to. I did not want to. I really tried not to. I tried so hard to hate them. I really did. I spent countless sleepless nights. Yet here we are. And Westbrook is kind of having uh like a second coming in that bench role. James Harden, who, oh, if I have not wasted breath on how much I loathe that man in the NBA, then I'd be lying. But he's actually showed, I mean, he's turned even me, a hardened hater. He's actually showed some commitment with Ivica Zubats, and even just the larger sort of scheme of the team. I have a modicum of faith that he is playing some of his better basketball that he has in the last at least few years, maybe since the Rockets, maybe. And obviously Paul George is still a bucket, and Kawhi's still a bucket. So I don't know, man. I actually think that They've got experience. I know. I can't believe I'm saying it. Stop me. Stop me now. My scorcher, I think they'll make it to Western Conference Finals. I don't think they have enough to get over the line, but I think it'll be a 7-game series. Thoughts? What do you
That
reckon?
is, I mean, look, I did watch one of their games the other day, and I was also very impressed with like how well they were playing. It was against the Thunder they played the other day, and they
Oh
ended up
yeah,
winning in the fourth quarter. But
yeah.
wow, Tommy, I'm shocked. I
I
never
know.
thought there would be any pro James Harden anything coming out of you, and
I
it's
know.
truly unheard of.
I know. And obviously everyone's talking about the Clippers like they usually do, that old thing, whatever. But I just they've given me a change of heart, and weirdly enough, I kind of like they've almost become like almost underdogs because it's been so every year. Oh, the Clippers is the Clippers that, and now no one believes in them, and now it's like the pressure's almost off a little bit. Um, Even Paul George, like in his interview with TNT the other day, like they were like, "Oh, what are your goals? What are you trying to do?" He didn't even say championship. Like in his head, he's just playing basketball and just trying to play as good as possible. So
Mm.
I feel like, yeah, weirdly enough, they have the least amount of pressure out of the last like, oh man, how many seasons have they been like
Mm.
pegged to go the whole way? Back since the uh like the Blake Griffin days. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. That's my scorcher, mate. That's my
Wow.
sizzler. Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. The crystal clear audio is coming in and it's extremely hot on my ears, Tommy.
Yeah, I bet, mate. You can probably feel my breath tickling your eardrums, but
That's
that's my heat check.
I loved it. All right, Tommy, it's time for our shots fired here today.
Here we go.
All right. Now, shots fired is a round where we sort of select a starting five of an unusual sort of topic. It's an uncommon topic, one that you wouldn't normally find on an NBA podcast or website. We've
Mm.
done worst coaches with their reactions when something bad's happening,
Oh
starting
yeah.
five. And today we're doing people that you'd expect in the clutch to dribble the ball off their foot. So
Okay.
some good candidates here. I want you to start us off here, Tommy. So give us who is in your starting five for most likely to dribble the ball off themselves in a clutch moment.
Okay, so I'm gonna put him at power forward. He
Okay.
also plays center, but I'm gonna put him at power forward. And this man, I mean, I don't watch many New York Knicks games, but when I do, this man is just he has the ball in the clutch, and I don't know why, but he does sometimes. And I'm putting at the power forward, Mr. Julius Randle. Um, Bro just has every it's just tough to watch. It's tough to watch in the clutch. He wants to be the man who brings it back to, Madison Square, and I've just seen it happen time and time again. It's a dribble off the foot. It's a pass out. I know this is dribble the ball off their foot during the clutch, but I've seen him pass it straight to the bench. I've seen him get blocked on like a deep three. But yeah, the dribble off the foot, I've surely seen it. There's got to be a compilation on YouTube somewhere, surely.
I love it, Tommy. And also, he was on the top of my list as well. I think very much
Oh.
he almost could be the MVP of this, just because it's just a beautiful confluence of confidence, a team that needs someone who can kind
Yeah,
of make shots occasionally,
exactly,
like,
exactly.
and just yeah, irrational confidence on a move. And I think a player that kind of exemplifies all of that, except without the star quality, but is very likely to try something much beyond their sort of role. This person plays center, so this is gonna be our starting center.
Okay.
And this is someone who you can definitely imagine clutch moment, gets the ball, everyone's
Yep.
screaming at them to pass it to someone else, and
Yeah.
it's straight into a post up off the leg, straight to the defense. And
Oh.
that is Andre Drummond.
Oh no.
We've seen it too
Magic
many times.
Bronson. We have.
The man thinks that
Oh.
he's got guard skills. I don't know if anyone's ever told him that, but he's definitely under the impression that if he gets the ball more, he should be using it, and it is devastating.
It's tough to watch, mate. It really is. And It's funny because he's great on the boards. He's good for a dunk or two, but for whatever reason, he feels like he's Shaq in the late 90s with handles, in the post. And I've seen it time and time again, and it's just tough.
Who you got for us, Tommy?
I've got at our point guard position.
Okay.
This man, similar, you actually reminded me of him when you said he often gets the ball in the clutch, but everyone's screaming, pass it to someone else. That was the sentence that I think encapsulates this man. And it's someone on the Lakers who's not named Anthony Davis, who's not named LeBron James. His name is D'Angelo Russell. And I just feel like this man, just purely because he is a point guard, I think, believes that he has some kind of God-given right to have the ball in the post. In the clutch. But I've seen his pocket get picked. I've seen his foot kick that ball, and everyone is like, "Why is anyone not called LeBron got the ball right now? Why? Why?" But I hate the Lakers, so I'm here for it. I don't care.
Great choice there. This person, I think, much has been made of their dribbling, and I think, with our anti-Celtic sentiment, this is just a
Go
layup
for
for
it.
me.
Yeah.
We've got our starting shooting guard. There's no need to beat around the bush. It's obviously going to be our man, Jalen Brown, taking us to Dribble
Oh.
Town. Look, it's rough. It hasn't gotten better. It's been the same
Yeah.
every season. I don't know
Yeah.
what's wrong. I don't know why he's not practicing it. It just seems like a disaster. And look, it's not going to happen every time, admittedly. He is better than that, but it is likely to happen in a clutch moment in like a game five, you know?
The only thing that's gotten better is his salary, and
Yeah.
that remains a mystery for me. Obviously he's up there, MVP of this league in the all stars of this category. I don't know why, but it's a yikes. Um, Jeremy, I've got someone at the forward position. He's listed at power forward, but I think you could just put him at forward.
Yeah.
This man, frustratingly for this franchise, just has the ball in his hands way too much, especially with the talent that has recently come onto that roster. And I'm putting at the power forward position or the forward position a Jeremy Sochan. How don't know how you say
Sohan.
Sohan. Thank you. Again, why is anyone not called Victor Wembanyama got the ball right now? Why? This dude is, if we're talking about fragile players, players who get bullied, players who are obviously insecure about their role on a team, this guy, dye your hair again, bro, because that's the only thing that's keeping you stand out from the pack other than kicking the ball in the. Why has he got it? I don't understand. I don't know. He's not even point guard. I don't know why he's got it all the time.
It's honestly, it should be seen as egregious tanking, him being like in point guard. Like, it needs to be investigated by the league because it's devastating. I'd like to just pick a sixth man, and this is very this season specific.
Okay, go on.
And this sixth man isn't actually a player, it's a team, and it's the Washington Wizards.
Oh,
If the spirit of a team
nice.
could dribble the ball off its own leg during a clutch possession.
It's literally everyone on the team. It's not even just Jordan Poole. It's literally the whole team.
It's Kuzma. Kuzma, you could
Oh,
definitely see doing that.
it's Tyus Jones, whatever his name is. Who
It's
else is on
it's
that team?
it's
It,
it's whoever is on that team. It's the soul of the team is to
it
dribble the
is.
ball off your own foot. It's to like I saw Jordan Poole. I've never seen this happen before, but I saw Jordan Poole fall over on a puddle in the middle of the ground.
I've seen their mascot kick the ball, mate, in a timeout. That's what I've seen. It's not even confined to the players on the roster. It is the staff. It is I mean, Giannis was saying the other day, even the ball boys and the, washers need to be better. Mate, I'm saying that for the Wizards. Come on now. What are we doing?
It's time to. It's like this season is so hard to watch that it's like, and they're not
It's
even the
tough.
worst team. Like they're not even the worst
No,
team, but this season is so hard to watch that I really think they should consider should we move this franchise and just start again. Like
seriously.
this is so sad.
And they've been so bad for so long. Like, they have picks coming out their ears. They kind of are like Detroit 2.0. Um, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yikes! It's just not good. It's look. So that's been shots fired, everybody. Tommy, we have another segment here that we've got to get to. We've actually got a couple more segments. Let's just dive right into it.
Good.
One that you've suggested is two truths and a lie. Okay.
Oh yes, I'm excited for this.
Now I've got two truths and a lie. I'm assuming. Do you have two truths and a lie,
I
or do
do
you
have
not?
to. No, I do. I'm just going to double check that they are. That's true. That's true. That is a lie. Oh yes, I have
Okay,
two truths
great.
and a lie. Do you want to just explain? Do you want me to explain the rules, or do you want to kind of
You
just?
you explain the rules. This is your segment. Wait, let me give you a little. I don't really have a sound effect, but I'm just going to use this one because we don't use it that often.
Okay.
So that's the sound of a basketball going through a net.
Dash. Yeah. In case none of you have ever watched a game of basketball before, the idea is to put the ball through a net. That is the sound it makes when it only hits the net. It's called a swish.
We're informative and funny on this
Yeah.
podcast, you know. So Tommy, give it to us. Tell us about the segment.
Right. Really simple. Two truths and
Mhm.
a lie. You have to guess the team.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say that we have, in the spirit of kind of equality, you have three guesses.
Mhm.
Three guesses. You can say warm or colder, whatever, however charitable you're feeling. I'm happy to give you. I'm happy to go first, just to kind of demonstrate it.
Yeah, let's do
I'm
it.
going to give you two truths and a lie. You have to work out, obviously, in your own mind, what's going on here. Okay, so
Okay.
this team currently has 3 All-Stars on the roster.
Okay.
This team has made the finals in the last 7 years. This team has beaten the Spurs in both matchups this season. So they've played the Spurs twice. They've beaten them in both of those matchups. I can repeat it again if you would like.
Okay, no, I think I'm there. So we've got three
Okay.
All-Stars, been to the
Yep.
finals in the last 7 years,
Yep.
and beaten Spurs twice.
Yep.
Okay.
This season.
This
In
season,
this
this
season's
season.
matchups. Yeah. You got 3
Three.
guesses. I'm not
Okay.
gonna. Yeah.
All right. All right. My first one, I'm gonna guess that I'm gonna hope that the Spurs one is the lie. I'm not gonna be on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hope that's the lie because I'm gonna go based off of the other two bits of information. My first guess is the Celtics.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
All right, I'm gonna go. Second guess is the Warriors.
That's also incorrect. But I will give you
Okay.
a hint for your final
All
guess.
right.
And the hint is that you're warmer on the Warriors and that you're in the correct conference.
Okay.
I'm not great on what are they called? The more specific.
Okay. That's all right. So it's not Warriors. It's not the Celtics.
Yes, but you're in the ballpark, so to speak, in that you're in the correct conference.
All right. I think I've got it.
Do you want a hint? Do you want a little hint?
No. I think I'm gonna go for it, Tommy.
I can. Okay. All right. Go for it.
Is it the Phoenix Suns?
Well done. Get it. Well done. Very well done. So the Phoenix Suns, obviously, they have 3 All-Stars. They have KD, they have Booker, they have Bradley Beal. They have made the finals a couple of years ago, obviously losing to the Bucks. Rip. They have not beaten the Spurs in either matchup this season. I looked it up. It is a fact. Both games were close. They lost. I could not believe it. The games were quite. I don't know if they were back. They weren't back to backs, but they were very close. I think they've got another one.
Mate, if they were the
lost.
Celtics, it would have been back to back, mate. That's the only reason they would have lost, mate.
There you go. But it is the Phoenix Suns. 2 truths and a lie. Well done, Jeremy. You got
Nice.
it in 3.
Okay. Wow, that was tricky. All right. I don't know if mine's going to be as tricky, Tommy, but
Okay.
I'm looking to you to just give me your thoughts. Okay, again, three facts, two truths and
Okay.
a lie,
All right.
and
Hit me.
you've got to pick the team as well. So here we
Okay.
go. Number one, they have the highest paid coach in the league. Number two, they're the worst clutch team in the league. And number three, they have the second longest losing streak in North American sports. One of those is a lie, and you got to pick the team. So here we go. Once again, just for you.
Okay.
Highest paid coach in the league, worst clutch team in the league, second longest losing streak in North American sports.
I don't know if this is too obvious. Is it the Detroit Pistons?
It is. Okay, which one of those is the lie though, Tommy?
So I do know that Monty is the highest paid coach in the NBA, which that's really not looking good right about now. They didn't have the second. They had. Oh, hold on. Oh, I thought that they had did they have the longest one? Because I'm just thinking now, I think there was another team that had a longer losing streak than them.
No, they're the second longest losing streak in North American
Oh,
sports.
so that was also a truth.
It is, yes.
That was also the truth, which makes the lie that they have, what is it, the worst in the clutch or something like that?
Well, actually, the worst clutch team is also true for them. The lie is actually that Monty Williams is the second highest paid coach behind Nick Nurse.
Gasp. Is he really?
Yeah.
I thought he was I went off
No,
that
he
thinking
was. He was, and then Nick Nurse got hired after him.
Oh.
So then Nick Nurse got more. The Sixers.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was fun. That was good. That was you kind of got me with the bait and switch
I
of
did.
the paid coach thing. That's actually what I thought about Detroit. It was like losing streak, highest paid coach. I'm like, this is giving me some Pistons sort of energy. But you got me on the bait and switch there. Well done.
There we go, mate. So anyway, that's some fun facts. I also wanted to use that as a quick opportunity. This is one of the worst NBA seasons I've ever seen. So we got to kick them while they're down here, and I thought I could do that through 3 interesting facts as well. There with the 2 truths and a lie.
Well, I'm actually I don't want to take the reins here from you, mate, but this might be a good opportunity to segue into our next section. Do you want to do worst take right now?
Yes, let's do it. It's actually worst fake, Tommy.
I
think worst take I think has been taken, but let's dive right into worst fake here.
Sorry, worst fake.
Alrighty, so worst fake for people that are unfamiliar. We all know the show First Take, where people have extremely intense opinions about really minor basketball topics.
Yeah.
And so today we're going to bring that energy, but instead of knowing the topic beforehand, the other person on this call is going to give us both the topic and what side of the argument we have to be on. And we don't know this before this. We just have to improvise in our best first take style. So, Tommy, do you want to go first or do you want me to dish to you first?
I want to dish to you, mate. I want to give you this. I want to get the assist here. I want to give you that open look. I want to give you that bucket.
Give it to me.
So you have to agree with this statement. So this is based off our last conversation. The Detroit Pistons will not get the wooden spoon this year. They will not be the last team, fewest amount of wins. There will be a team that will be worse than them. And you have to try and justify that.
All right. I think I've got the answer. I'm going to be honest, the first 5 seconds after this, I actually had no answer, but I think I've got it.
Okay.
So here's what happens, right? I saw a clip the other day where Victor Wembanyama, someone had worked out that if you throw the ball up, you can just lob it to him all the time, right?
Okay.
It was a great tactic for the Spurs and it was very effective. My guess is this has nothing to do with the Detroit Pistons. They're going to be terrible. But what I'm arguing is that there might be a team that goes into an even worse mode. So basically the Spurs have cracked the code that everybody knew heading into the season who never even played basketball in their life, that if you throw the ball up high, Victor Wembanyama is going to be the only person that can get it, right? They've worked that out. My thinking is, as long as they keep playing Jeremy Sohan the same amount of minutes, maybe increase his minutes, you lose that intelligence and your team might start tanking. Like if this is a year for them to go back to back with 2 top 3 picks, why not go for it? I think the Spurs at some point, if they realize Wemby's not going to win the Rookie of the Year, which it seems like the votes are starting to go to Chet, it's time to just enter full tank mode. Play Sohan at point guard, shooting guard, and center. Give him all the touches and just let your team collapse in front of your eyes. So I think that with Detroit, it can't get any worse. So I'm just going to guess that some level of teamwork is going to have to happen at some point. Maybe they rip off four wins in 16 games and all of a sudden they're back. They're back. So I'm going to say that is why I think the Detroit Pistons will come second last by a game.
They're only 3 or 4 games behind the Spurs.
Yeah.
So it's actually not the wildest hot fake I've ever heard.
All right.
But yeah, that well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
That
Thank
was
you.
quite lucid, I must admit.
Thank you. It was a great topic because that was tough. And I
Okay.
think I've got an equally tough one for you, Tommy.
Oh dear, here we go. A
All right.
doozy. Give me the wrong one, mate.
All right, here it is. Tell me why, Tommy. You're agreeing with this.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you gotta answer this, but you agree with it. Tell me why this is the year that the New York Knicks take it to the finals.
Why'd you do it to me? Why'd you do it to me? At least pick a different conference. Here's what it is, mate. They made the trade. That's what they did. They offloaded Emmanuel quickly. They offloaded what's his name? That left-handed
Barrett.
got Barrett. Trash, both of them. They got OG. They needed the 3 and D. They needed a little bit of like that wing defense we keep talking about. And I think it's a perfect complement because it kind of takes a few shots away from Randall, which is good because he doesn't need to jack up as many threes. This is it. I actually think this is their best chance. This is the best chance they've had since late 90s when they last went to the finals. This is it. I'm feeling good about MSG. I reckon that, I mean, obviously Brunson is having another incredible season. Randall's feeling less pressure. So he's actually playing a little bit better. Even though he's first team dribbling the ball off his foot, he's getting better at it. He's going to stop doing that. And OG is going to be the big three. You got your next big three. So they can go all the way, mate. I actually think that they may be the next sort of Heat light as far as bullying other teams. I think that they can kind of get a little bit gritty with it. I think they can get a little bit kind of, they all got a little bit of dog in them. They all got chips on their shoulder. They all got something to prove. These are very Heat qualities. Do you know what I mean? And I can see them sort of bullying their way through the Eastern Conference. Obviously, Giannis would have to be out for the season. I hope that doesn't happen, but, that could happen. And Dame, I don't know, maybe they sit him or something. There's be some kind of miraculous turn of events, but this is the best chance that they've got to go all the way. Maybe they meet a banged up sort of, Denver or a banged up Clippers in the finals. I'm thinking like a sort of Toronto Golden State Warriors sort of, where it's like, it's the finals, but they hobbled their way there. So it's kind of just, you've got to put them away. That could happen again. And I could see a title coming to New York. That's it. I'm out.
Amazing, Tommy. What a great job because you've done well to. I think a very first take quality that you just laid out was best Knicks team since the 90s. That's just first take, just beauty.
Yeah, chef's kiss.
Great job. All right, Tommy, we've only got one segment left. It's time to jump into it. It is, of course, Agent Cody Bank. All right, beautiful. Agent Cody Bank. Now, for people that haven't heard this segment before, we each get 30 seconds to again improvise. But this time
Used to be a minute.
It used to be a minute, but we just don't. We're cutting sections left and right here, mate. So, so you've got 30 seconds to act as the agent for a sort of random player in the NBA, and your goal is to try and sell them to get them a max contract. Now, often these players not sometimes they're starters, sometimes they're not. They're sort of fringe six men type often, or obscure, totally obscure. So Tommy, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I've got a somewhat relevant one to give you, but
let's do that one.
I just have to ask you a little question to preface it because it might color. I've got two options here for you. Did you look at the box score for the Cavaliers game today?
I did not.
Bucks. Okay. Did you see the certain sort of others performances that may or may not have happened in the Cavaliers game?
I did not.
Okay. I'm going to go with a different person then because I don't want to throw you under the bus with this. I'm going to go with, this is also a relevant one because they've just been traded, but it was a trade that was being talked about a lot. You need to try and convince me why they're going to be now the bus driver for this team. They get the max contract when they re-sign because they're a free agent very shortly, Jeremy. I think you know where this is going. Is he going to be the bus driver? Is he going to get that max contract, or is he just going to get punted to the Lakers? Your task for Agent Cody Banks is a Mr. Pascal Siakam.
All right. Pascal Siakam. So he's basically, you know what he'd be? He'd be Giannis in the G League or in China. That's who
Yeah.
he'd be. That's kind of his destiny is to be that good. So you need to get him on a team that really doesn't need him. I understand that he's just gone to the Pacers and that was great, but what you really need from Pascal Siakam is a lot of touches and a lot
Yep.
of Giannis type flair. So
Yep.
just stick him on the Detroit Pistons. I mean, you can't get
Oh,
worse.
oh, and that's 30. Wow, you really got me with that last bit. I felt like you were kind of warming me up and then bang, send him to the
Yeah.
Pistons. Get those extra 4 wins so you don't get the wooden spoon. Yes, sir.
All right, Tommy. I'm gonna start with one here. I don't know if you know this player. I do have a
Oh, dear.
backup. Okay. Now this
Okay.
one I just think is kind of funny because he represents a lot of things I think about this franchise, but he is a slightly obscure player on them. So,
Am
Tommy,
I
I'm
allowed
gonna
to?
ask
Am I allowed to decline if I don't know them?
if you don't know him, you can decline because I got a good backup. But
Okay.
do you know who Luke Cornett is?
I don't. I don't
He's
know
the
who.
tall white guy who plays on the Celtics.
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay,
I
that's
don't watch
great. That's
Celtics
right. All
games,
right.
Jeremy.
Well,
I'm sorry.
that's all right. Well, I think this person, they just signed a max, I think, or not a max, but they signed a big contract. But they've had a
Oh,
lot of turmoil this season, and I want you to pitch like just imagine next season they're kind of their contract's ending. I want you to pitch this person.
okay.
That player is Draymond Green.
Deary me. Okay. If you want a player that screams culture, peace, versatility, bag, I got the player for you. It's Mr. Draymond Green. He's going to be both security guard and NBA player for you. He's going to punch people out whether they're playing basketball or not. He is a dog, both in the way that he acts on and off the basketball court. So I think he deserves to go to the Detroit Pistons.
I love that our last sentence really is surprising. Like you really can't predict where the segment's gonna go.
I just felt it. I just felt that. Just in that last second, I was like, I want to bring up the Pistons again.
He, Draymond Green would have been an amazing 1989 Detroit
Oh,
Piston. Can you imagine him
like a
just
glove.
haymakering Michael Jordan just every time he's coming
Just
down the court?
yeah, decking Scottie Pippen just for no reason. A tip off, you know.
He's actually got a very 1990s Detroit Pistons game. Like, can't really shoot. You know, he's kind of out there just to fight people and with
Yep.
aggression and defense. The offensive game is primarily through passing and rebounding. I think it's a great kind of call there.
Yeah, if he's not careful, he's going to be like a less peaceful Thanasis, where they're just going to check him in with 10 seconds left and he's going to get a tech, but it won't be for flopping. It'll be for like, you know, king hitting a dude.
I think you've actually stumbled into something. Maybe when we play the Warriors, we should roll Thanasis out on
Yeah,
Draymond because he might get him
they'll just
ejected.
yeah, I think and like literally like a couple of fouls, you know, a couple of little sort of reach ins,
Hmm.
a bump here or there, whatever it is, just being a general pest. He could like bait Draymond so easily.
I think we've found there's been a lot of Thanalysis in this episode, actually,
Oh yeah,
surprisingly, and
quite
I think
rightly.
I'm very impressed. All right, well, Tommy, that's all our segments. I do have to remind people to go to hoopatheticals@gmail.com to
Please.
send us any thoughts. Do you have any final thoughts, Tommy, before we head off?
No final thoughts. I'm very excited for the rest of the season. I'm excited for the All-Star sort of festivities. We'll obviously
Hmm.
do a check-in after that, kind of a little look at how the Bucks went between now and then.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm excited to see the Detroit Pistons continue to spiral. I'm excited to see the Celtics fan base continue to be in a general sort of state of chaos. I hope that remains. And Godspeed. That's what
Yeah.
I've got.
And as always, everybody, Finn.
Finn.